Shalom Aleichem. Welcome to the weekly Parsha. This coming week's Parsha is VaYakhel. It's the next to last Parsha in Shmos, the book of Shmos, Exodus, and it has two parts to it. First three psukim talk about how Moshe Rabbeinu gathered the Jews to speak to them about keeping Shabbos. Then the rest of the Parsha, the next 119 psukim, all speak about building the Mishkan, forming the vessels, creating them, and the yard, and the actual building of the Mishkan, and so on and so forth. But it starts off, VaYakhel Moshe. Moshe gathered all the Jews, and he told them about Shabbos. Because Shabbos is paramount. Shabbos, the Talmud teaches, is 1/60th of the world to come. It's conceptually the world to come. What is Shabbos? The day of rest. Day of rest. You ever go to shul and hear all the conversations that they have in shul about what happened in the stock market, what happened in the hospital, what happened in Wall Street, and other businesses, and all the other problems? But that's not what Shabbos is meant to be. It's not. Shabbos, Rashi brings, it should be not in this week's Parsha. Shabbos is a day when you should see all my work was completed. All my work was completed. I have nothing to think about work, nothing to connect me to the problems, trials, and tribulations of this world, which means that Shabbos is a day when I can think about myself, my family, and I can think about things that are really important. Okay, maybe earning a living is important. Maybe. Probably is very important. But it's not what the focus of my life should be. I'm here on this world for a limited amount of time. Some people make it to 30, some to 50, 70, 100. Okay. But that's all. And then we leave. What have I done during my life? Right? Or as the world says, it's folks saying, there's nobody when they're lying on their deathbed who could say, I wish I spent more time in the office. Right? What? What? You got a family? Well, families are breaking apart. Why? You have children, they rebel, they go crazy, drugs, depression, suicide. Why? Because nobody thinks of themselves. They only think of money or other enticements, other gratifications. Shabbos, Moshe Rabbeinu said, you want to build a sanctuary to Hashem? That's a whole long part of the Parsha. But just put it in a couple of words. If you want to build a sanctuary to Hashem, then keep Shabbos. In other words, keep your mind directed on the world to come. Keep your mind directed, Shabbos la Hashem. It's a Shabbos to God. Or I once had a little figurine that I had on my desk to keep things in perspective. The only one who ever got all of his work completed by Friday was Robinson Crusoe. Did you ever hear that? There's a story, Robinson Crusoe, and he had a sidekick Friday, and Friday did all the work for Robinson. So the only one who ever got all his work finished by Friday was Robinson Crusoe, not any of us. That doesn't happen. So what we have to do is learn to focus on Shabbos, right? I have to take myself out of all the pressures and stress and difficulties and frustrations and challenges that this world provides for me. Then, and only then, could I build a sanctuary to Hashem. What's interesting, what I find very interesting, being that we have an organization, Breslov Research, and we try and do fundraising. We say we try because we don't always succeed, but we try to do fundraising. And we need funds to keep the organization going. Baruch Hashem, it's an organization that produces Rabbi Nachman. It brings the teachings of Rabbi Nachman to the world. But anyway, we also want to build a sanctuary where people could feel comfortable with Hashem, where people could feel connected to Hashem, where people could experience Hashem. And we do that through Rabbi Nachman's books. So what I find interesting in this week's Parsha is Moshe Rabbeinu was the first real fundraiser. He said, guys, we need money to build the Mishkan. And people brought in gold, silver, copper, goat skins, right? Different kinds of colors, oil, whatever they were able to bring, whatever anyone had, they brought. And then, this is where it really gets interesting. Moshe Rabbeinu said, tell the people I have enough. Frankly, I'm now 78 and a half. I've been around for a while, and I never ever heard of an organization that said I have enough money, don't have to bring any more. I never saw that. I never heard that. Moshe Rabbeinu was perfect. He knew how to fundraise. We don't. So, by way of this week's Parsha, I'm asking if anyone has any extra money to help us out, Breslov Research, please feel free to send in. And if you don't have extra money, you can still send in. But anyway, that's the part of the fundraising. But what was erected, Moshe Rabbeinu took Betzalel and he told him, go ahead and build the Mishkan. Build the ark, the table, the altars, the menorah, the candelabrum. Build a building for it, build a yard. And he gave him specific details how to do it. By us, we could also erect a sanctuary to Hashem. By us, we could also build a dwelling place that I could feel Hashem in me. That's what Shabbos is all about. And Shabbos supersedes erecting the Mishkan. If you have Shabbos, if you divorce yourself from all the pressures of this world and you learn to look to Hashem, you're building a sanctuary. If not, it just won't work. So what we have to do is try and concentrate on Shabbos, concentrate on the world to come. As Rabbi Nachman teaches, Kach Darkei Yiri Hashem, this is the path of those who serve Hashem. When you wake up in the morning, the first thing you do is recognize that there is another world aside from all the temptations of this world. So Let's focus. Parshat VaYakhel. And how does it work? Moshe Rabbeinu did it, what's called VaYakhel. He gathered the people together. One person individually could serve Hashem, but it's hard. I'm all alone. I'm the one guy in the whole universe that does this. But if I join with other people, like-minded people who think about Hashem, then for sure I'm able to build a sanctuary. And this is the lesson of this week's Parsha. We should learn to focus on Shabbos, on otherworldly things. Not this worldly things, but otherworldly things. We should learn to focus that there is a God, and we have an ability and the chance and the opportunity to build ourselves into a sanctuary for Hashem. May Hashem help us that it comes to pass. And as we're ending the week of Adar, the next week, next Sunday is Rosh Chodesh, a week from Sunday. The next Sunday, the Kudei, is Rosh Chodesh Adar. Adar, when we have Purim. There are a lot of beautiful, wonderful things. Salvation is in Hashem's hands. Let's all turn to Him, and Be'ez Hashem, we're going to see wonderful, incredible, and amazing things. Amen. Selah. Have a great Shabbos. Good evening, and I hope you enjoyed the shir. And if you like the shir, please pass it on to others and let them all get interested in Breslov and Rabbi Nachman's teachings. We look forward to hearing from a lot more of you. All the best.